Higginbotham has lived here in South Florida for 14 years now and decided to bring her firearm back from her home in New Jersey. She and her husband, Steve, did some research and packed her firearm the way they thought it needed to be packed. But when they showed up at Newark Airport, their lives were turned upside down. Mia was arrested and charged with illegal possession of a handgun she legally owns. And she now faces up to 10 years in prison. Sound familiar? As Mia told me, she always knew New Jersey had some of the toughest laws on the books, but she never dreamed she'd become a victim caught up in its web of injustice.
The waiting's torture. They basically told me that I'm one step below a murderer in the eyes of the New Jersey court. I could go to jail for over 5 years, stay prison, not see my daughter, not see my husband. My life will never be normal again.
Here we go again. Same gun law that's turning law-abiding citizens into criminals. But now, in this case, with Mia, it's a whole new set of outrage.
I purchased a firearm because while I was in chiropractic school in Atlanta, Georgia, in the middle of the night, someone was banging on my door. And the man was yelling, "I'm a policeman, you can call to verify who I am." So I opened the door, and he said to me that my neighbors have been reporting that I have a stalker looking in my windows at night. And the officer told me I better go out in the morning and get a gun.
An officer told you?
Right, he said I must purchase a gun. And he said, I'm even gonna come back and check to make sure you purchased the firearm for your own safety. I was scared to death. I was really terrified at the time.
So here you are, you own the firearm, you brought it from Georgia to New Jersey, no problem. And now you want to bring it from New Jersey to Miami, where you live now.
Yes. Just every time I went home, my mother would say, "Oh, bring some of your stuff back with you." And so I looked into what I have to do to transport it legally.
I read the following information on the TSA website, which stated that firearms must be unloaded and locked in a hard-sided container and transported as checked baggage only. And that's exactly what we did.
We went to the airport. It was in the original manufacturer's box. It was inside a hard, non-crushable suitcase that had double locks on it, which is what I was told was required. I declared it at the desk. I signed the form. Yes, I have a firearm. So they x-rayed the luggage, and the TSA man said, everything's fine. We can see that it's unloaded, that there's no ammunition anywhere in the bag, and he was ready to send it through. When the counter agent said, well, you have to personally put this paper inside, he opened it up, the luggage, and he said, oh no, it has to be in a metal box. My whole life turned upside down.
All hell broke loose. But the bottom line is TSA has misinformed the public. It should be very specific, saying separate, hard-sided case. If that's what they want, it's what it should say. It doesn't say a separate locked container. It gives the impression to any reader that it's a hard-sided checked baggage. It's very ambiguous.
Now I'm getting nervous. The counter agent, she walked around a little bit with me to try to find something that we felt would pass for a metal suitable lockbox, but of course there was nothing to be found. So I said to the TSA, can I surrender it? And they said that would be a good solution. Meanwhile, I didn't know that the sergeant had called a Newark prosecutor who told him to arrest me.
I saw my wife surrounded by police officers. My daughter, Bella, who's 4 years old, went over to my wife and started hugging her.
How can something like this happen when I thought I'm doing the right thing and I think I'm within the letter of the law and then I get arrested?
Her intent was 100% to follow and obey federal law. She's not charged under federal law. She's not charged with a federal crime. She is charged with a second-degree New Jersey felony, state taking over, and they want to prosecute. Because now, in the name of gun control, we want to make sure we can pump up those statistics.
A check in their box, we got a gun owner off the street or a gun off the street.
My wife was in a jail cell, 8 hours. That was one of the hardest things I've ever had to witness.
I was trying to keep my composure, and for the most part I did, but then the lieutenant came in and said, you have a $50,000 bond. And I said, wow. I'm like, why so much? And he's like, well, it's the severity of the crime.
50,000 because she's such a threat. Talk about the insanity of New Jersey. How insane is that? There's a specific exemption in New Jersey law that allows an individual to take their handgun from their home between residences while moving. And New Jersey law says it has to be unloaded and in a gun box. Well, that's just where it was. She is innocent under New Jersey law. She is within that exemption completely. She was legal for what she did. She shouldn't have been arrested in the first place at all.
The sergeant looked like he was about to cry over the situation. And he said, we know the gun laws in New Jersey are a little crazy. They were very apologetic.
In the practice of gun law, I hear that all the time. They were sympathetic. And what has the New Jersey legislature done to fix it? Nothing.
I don't think these lawmakers have any clue. They should have been changed already. These gun laws are ruining people's lives. Totally, it's destroying families. My daughter, when we first came home, every time she saw a policeman or a policewoman or a police car, she said, oh, mommy, mommy, there's the police. I hope they don't take you away.
These type of cases do not build confidence in the criminal justice system or in the legislative process. The system is absolutely put on its ear. They are so fast on their agenda. They are so tied in to what is plainly evil anti-gun agenda. They don't care about honest, law-abiding citizens being abused by the law. That's who's to blame.
What do you say to those people who say, well, you know, you lived in New Jersey. You know what the gun laws are like. You should have known.
I did my research and I didn't do anything wrong. The police knew I wasn't out to commit a crime with the gun. They knew it. And New Jersey is not any safer for arresting myself or anyone in a similar situation.
They need to focus on real criminals breaking the law, not people transporting an unloaded weapon.
What's justice for Mia? She should not need PTI because this charge should not have been brought. It should just be dropped. That's justice.
This whole thing is just a total shock. You have this threat, like this dooming threat over your head that I could go away to jail for years and lose everything. Financially, forget it, would be in ruins at that point too.
I'm not going to see her become a convicted felon, lose her chiropractic license, lose 3.5 to 5 years of seeing her daughter grow up, become a second-class citizen, all over this nonsense? No way.
How does this happen in America? I could go out and get a concealed weapons permit here, and I can't even transport a firearm in a locked suitcase with no ammunition in New Jersey? Being a citizen of the United States of America, I thought I had a constitutional right to legally own a gun.
New Jersey is the shining example of what no state ever wants to become. Because if you want to see what happens when you do it, look at Mia's case. Look at Van Gilder. Look at Brian Aiken. Look at these individuals, what they went through. And that's why we have to keep up that fight. Got to protect that freedom. Absolutely.